can get a little crowded or overwhelming if there's one prospect for, 4 booth staffers in the blazing red shirts. It might be a little intimidating.
And can you talk about body language? Look at that photo on the lower part of the slide. Is that person texting or sleeping?
Yeah, I can't tell. We should do a poll on this, and I think it would be a 50-50 either way. But you can kind of see that there's a lady on the left of the photo as well, and she's actually just sitting there facing into the booth space, totally closing herself off from the aisle and basically making it impossible for anyone to come up to her and ask questions. Now, the photo on the top right, in the far left and right-hand side of the photo, there's actually 2 booth staffers that are engaging with prospects, while the other 2 in the middle are very open. They're actually somewhat in the aisle, ready to engage, ready to welcome people there. So body language has a lot to do with it.
So, and that goes into more into staff training, and I want to look at this as a 5-star approach when you're considering who to train and what to train them on. So when you pick your staff, you need to look at the product and train your staff on the product. You need to pick your staff based on personality types. Are they somebody who's outgoing? I read somewhere that the actual perfect profile of a person that to work a booth is somebody that has worked in retail before, because they've got people coming in and talking to them that they've never met before. Where you've got a salesperson, and typically they go into a situation with a scheduled meeting, and so they're able to prepare themselves a little bit more and do a little bit more background. Consider you need to train somebody on how to profile and move somebody. So if somebody in your booth first meets somebody and either they don't know how to answer a question, they need to be able to profile that and move them on to somebody who can, or if it's somebody that's there not to purchase your product or learn more about you, they need to be able to notice that and move them on so that you can get to people that are interested in your product. Train them on body language and what the show profile is that you're looking for. And then also train them ahead of time on what that follow-up plan is going to be for after the show, so that they can be considering all that information while they're at the show working. So giving people a reason to stop is critical, but one that you need to be careful about is attracting people that you don't want at your booth. Quality over quantity is always better.
Yeah, that's very true, Matt. Some of the reasons that we can give folks to stop by and sort of pre-qualify them is by providing different, show specials or having a product announcement before the show that would create a lot of interest. We talked a little bit about pre-setting some of those appointments as well, and that's a great opportunity to take advantage of engaging with, prospects that we've never seen before. Maybe creating some sort of attention-getting activity or experience that is really going to relate to a buyer is important to consider. Or just, going all out and doing something big and different. All, special reasons, attention-getting reasons for folks to stop by your booth space.
Yeah, for instance, that top photo there, talking about the third bullet, attention-getting activities and experiences. This particular person, they set up a game, but they were careful about how they set up the game. They wanted to make sure that the game educated the customer on their product. The one below that has to do with the fourth bullet on doing something big and different. This particular booth, you can actually set it to rain every couple minutes, and what happens is as you're standing under the umbrella, you'll hear sounds of thunder. You'll see the lights flash like it's lightning, and then the edge of the umbrella will actually drip water onto the crops that are behind it in the display. So you really get immersed in that particular booth.
Yeah, and some other reasons that we can, give folks, attendees, a chance to stop by is, maybe a redemption from pre-show mailings, sort of similar to the hat idea, or maybe, so many dollars off if they make a purchase within so many months. And, also just walking the floor and meeting some of those industry leaders or folks in the press, invite them over to the booth space, and that really gives them, kind of a great way to engage and make them feel important.
So before we get to that last bullet on this slide, I want to talk to you about the top photo. This booth, they were giving away a few Kindles during the show, the ebook readers, and they made sure they skinned them on the backside with the look and feel of their product guide, and then they actually downloaded their product guide onto the Kindle. So they were showing a pretty cool technology, got people interested in talking, and at the same time, when whoever won these products could actually take some of the information about the company home. And then the image on the bottom is basically a coupon or a gift certificate for some of their product. And so it's something that they can redeem later. It's pretty valuable at $100 for the coupon, and something that you can kind of track on how well this particular thing did. So you also need to create an inviting booth through design. So Michael, what are some of the current booth trends or some of the recent attention-grabbing booths that you've seen?
Yeah, that's right. The design of the booth and graphics are going to have a lot to do with, that experience and, getting folks to stop by your booth space. And, when you're at any show, you see a lot of clutter, you see a lot of traffic at the show. So we really can't just rely on, great design of the graphics to stand out from the competition. We've got to think about hitting on, as many senses as possible. And so in these examples, we're looking at backlighting to really, help us create graphics that are going to pop. So these are some very cost-effective LED backlighting units for like a traditional pop-up display and more of a structural type kiosk as well. So it's a great way to really help you separate yourself in those smaller spaces. And even in the larger island spaces, sometimes we're near a competitor, or as you look across the show hall, you see 50 other people with an island space. So there can be a lot of competition in the air, so to speak. So we can use backlighting even in these taller structures to really create some pop and hit on some of our senses and be really visible from any angle in the show hall.
Yeah, and another thing to point out on this is that these people went up with their booth, and you have to. It's a great idea, but don't forget to look into what are some of the regulations that the convention hall puts on you for how high you can go. So we'll move on to our third poll question, and this poll question is: what kind of booth do you currently use? We'll go ahead and launch that. The answers are: I use an inline booth, I use an island booth, or I use both types depending on the show. Looks like we've got about 67% of the people out there have voted. Give it a couple more seconds, and so far it's a pretty even split between using an inline booth and using both. About 5 more seconds. Okay, we'll go ahead and close out this poll. Thanks for answering these poll questions.
Yeah, and some more trends that we see. I mean, even if you're in a smaller space, like an inline at 10 by 10 or 10 by 20, sometimes, we have to think about the logistics, and we're looking at portable solutions, that are going to ship rather lightweight or easily to actually drive to a show. So for those portable exhibitors, we still have to think about how to command attention, even though we're going very lightweight. So